Passing of the Queen shocked the world, causing ripples of emotion and tributes, all for the Queen from all around the globe. As the world looks on to follow the latest updates of the Queen's last journey, it is expected that it will be one of the grandest funerals in history. This week we have Greg Inglis, who is one of the founders and managing directors of Pica Luna, and the company is endeavouring to change the way funerals are done for the better. Good to see you, Greg. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
No worries at all. And thank you again for talking about this opportunity. I think it's a good one to cover because, as I mentioned in the beginning there, it's not one that everyone wants to think about, but I think it's important we speak on it. Can you tell us a little bit more about Pica Luna, just to start?
Yeah, look, Pica Luna is a future-forward Australian company looking to disrupt the $1.8 billion Australian funeral industry with a better way to do funerals. Built on the back of a growing community of celebrants and bolstered by our proprietary custom tech platform, we're asset light and we can scale at pace. We wanted to make organising a funeral simpler, more personal, more compassionate, and definitely more affordable. Our idea was to put families back at the heart of the funeral arranging process by giving them a bigger say at every stage. And it quickly became clear that the best people to realise our vision was funeral celebrants, designing meaningful, creative, beautiful ceremonies. So it made sense that we put our tailor-made funeral arranging software in their hands, giving them the tools and the skills to become funeral directors as well as funeral celebrants.
Yeah, so there's sort of a great way to think about it. I'm often the one who makes the videos or something like that, puts together the media for events, for birthdays and funerals, etc. So the idea of becoming a funeral director through a clever piece of software, it seems like it takes the stress out of it a bit, but usually funerals are something that people don't like talking about, as I keep mentioning. However, you can share some insights into the funeral industry that many people probably couldn't. Take us through what it's like.
Yeah, look, we saw an industry stuck in its ways, lacking transparency, really painfully slow to evolve. Quoting Choice Magazine's investigation into the industry, their work found that the funeral industry was rife with poor practices that leave grieving people vulnerable and perhaps worse off. So unclear pricing, misinformation, fees for no service, and a highly concentrated market where true ownership of funeral providers is obfuscated. These were just some of the poor practices they uncovered. And this, of course, was backed up by an ACCC report into the funeral sector that was released last year. Now, the industry is made up of small to medium independent businesses like Pica Luna, coupled with two publicly listed companies in Propel Partners and InvoCare. And between those two, they make up about 32% market share. So I guess broadly speaking, if you had to sort of sum up the industry, it's made up of businesses that are slow to evolve, like I said. They're asset heavy, they're held back by legacy systems and processes, and they've been found to lack transparency in their business dealings.
Okay, so it's interesting to certainly unpack a few of those things back there, but how did the idea of Pica Luna come to be? Take us through a bit about the, going from seed to oak in terms of business.
Sure. Well, I guess for me personally, it started with my mum's death back in 1999. So we were rushed into a funeral 4 days after she died. It was only 45 minutes in the chapel at the hospice because there was another service after mum's. We couldn't fit everyone inside the chapel. We're in a deep fog of grief. We made the most of it, but it didn't really celebrate who mum was. Knowing what I know now, mum loved the races. She's the daughter of a Kiwi farmer and Pop was a hobby horse trainer and she loved going out to the races, she and I. So knowing what I know now, we probably would have bought 100 tickets out to Royal Randwick. We would have got everyone dressed up to the nines. We would have drank champagne. We would have had a laugh, had a cry, told stories and scatter her ashes at the winning post, with or without permission of the Jockey Club. That would have been a really authentic farewell. And so on the back of my experience, and my co-founders have had similar experiences with the industry, the idea was there to sort of, do something better. So we launched in October 2016, and because of that opportunity in the marketplace to change the way funerals are done for the better, Pica Luna, I guess you could say, is funeral arranging reimagined. We take a really reactive, burdensome and stressful moment in time and turn it into something deeply intentional, rewarding and connecting experience. So our platform powers this vision by connecting families, friends and communities to funeral celebrants, the people we've trusted to create these meaningful ceremonies.
That is
I guess
it's no small feat, what you've just described to me there, to actually take something and again turn it into something meaningful, and having
yeah.
learnt that lesson as well, such a personal story. It's exciting to think the possibilities, and again that celebration of life that many people some miss out on, unfortunately, because
Yeah, look,
yeah.
I think communities need to, through the ritual of funerals, through the ritual of ceremony, you need to be able to get communities to honour their person, mourn their death. There is sadness. Celebrate the person's life so the community can heal and rejuvenate and move on. It's really important, and I just don't see that in a 45 or 30-minute service in a chapel. It takes a lifetime of stories to tell the story of a lifetime, and under that construct, under that cookie cutter approach, I just don't think it's good for anyone.
Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But what does the future hold for Pica-Luna, I suppose? And maybe you can give us a comment on the industry as a whole for the future, as things, hopefully change for the better.
Yeah, look, we want to strive to deliver the best possible experience every time. So we work closely in partnership with families to co-create meaningful personal funeral ceremonies. So we've democratized that process. I think people are looking more and more to do things their way. I think you've definitely got the baby boomers coming through the protest era, and they definitely want to do things their way. We're also becoming a little bit more secular as a society. So moving away from religious ceremony to a more creative, meaningful, authentic ceremony for them. So we basically democratise that process. We allow people to have input at every stage. We knew this would allow personal and authentic funerals. It also allowed us to keep the funeral cost affordable for everyone. We make a real effort to understand everyone's situation and work with them to deliver a beneficial outcome within their budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said by you, Greg. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on the program to discuss more about this. Is there anything else you wanted to leave us with this afternoon, just before I let you go, in terms of where people should be going if they're interested in getting your assistance?
Yeah, look, certainly, they can just look us up online on our website, picaluna.com. We are currently working with venture crowds to prepare for our next raise because we want to grow the business. We've been growing quite fast to date. We turned over 2.9 million in revenue in FY22, and that was up 60% on the previous financial year. We've conducted over 1,400 funerals and donated in excess of $104,000 to well over 170 different charities and causes since our launch. So we're going to be using the investment to grow our funeral arranging numbers. We want to grow some more direct source funerals by investing further in search, social media, brand awareness, and website upgrades. We definitely want to upgrade our tech platform. We want to recruit some new people to bolster operations and marketing. And we definitely want to expand the business into new territories. So, for example, Melbourne and Brisbane, as well as sort of establishing our footprint within our current operating areas of Greater Sydney, Central Coast, Newcastle in New South Wales. And lastly, we want to enhance our Pica-Luna charity program. So I guess by investing in Pica-Luna, people are really helping us change the way funerals are done for the better.
Absolutely. And again, well said by you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, shining a light on the industry, and of course, telling us all about Pica-Luna in the future as well.
Thank you, Mike.